I am powerless. I surrender.
Hi, it's Lauren. Welcome to another lyric analysis. Today's song is The Only One to Change, and it is song number 21 and the first one in the blue section. So today we're starting the blue section, which is associated with the throat chakra and communication. For me, this section, there's definitely a lot of sadness, especially in this first song of grief. And I'm trying to think of this section as like the water flowing out all of the trauma and stuff. And speaking of that, this is a hard one. So I'm just gonna do my best without like causing myself to have like a nervous breakdown. So yeah. So this song is entitled The Only One to Change, and it is about family dynamics and hoping the other person will change and be more of what you need, but they don't. Even when you address your needs directly and clearly, your emotions still get invalidated. And so the core of this song is definitely this belief of emotional invalidation, that emotions aren't a need, they're a luxury. I want how I feel and who I am and my values to matter. So I'll work really hard and be successful so that I can earn the right to basically be my own person. So yeah, emotional needs weren't seen as needs, they were seen as luxuries, almost like guilty pleasures, like dessert. Like, yeah, you can have them every once in a while if you can afford it, but if you were really strong, you would go without. Just like the way artistic gymnastics used to be, or Russian figure skating in the Quad Revolution, the body and mind break down before adulthood. So I was never able to reach that level of success where who I am and how I felt mattered because I broke down before I reached adulthood. I had an eating disorder, and I think because my immune system was so down, I also got mono, and that was kind of the beginning of the end at 15. And it made everything worse. Let's just start the lyrics and see what I can do. First line is, I lost control again, broken furniture and blood and years of resentment. In this time, I was basically pointing out that, hey, my feelings aren't luxuries, my feelings matter. Please validate them. This has hurt me. This belief system that you've put in me doesn't work. Here's the evidence, A to B to C. And I thought if I explained it well enough or calmly enough, then things would change and I'd be understood. But the opposite happened. The heels were dug in even more and I was hurt even more. Basically, I'd say, hey, that hurts me when you do that. Please don't do that. And then it would be done to me again. And basically implied like how ridiculous it is for me to even ask. It just proves how weak I am. I would blame myself that I got triggered again, which is unfair because I'm literally being baited. Like, I'm telling you my worst emotional wounds, and then you're triggering them again instead of listening to me when you're one of the people that's supposed to like care about me and protect me the most. It's a level of cruelty that no one should have to experience. At this point, I was in such a weakened state that I really didn't have anything left, couldn't really defend myself. So I would be calm at first, but then I would lose control, and there was some broken furniture, there was some blood, sometimes I'd kick things, and years of resentment. I just wanted who I was and how I felt to matter, and I don't know how much of it ever did. Next part, why do you hurt me? Why do you see the wound and push the knife deeper in me? Like I said, like I'm telling you, this hurt me, please don't do it, and then you do it again. Like, why are you defending this belief that's destroyed me and probably hurt you. Like, why is maintaining this belief more important than me? All right, chorus. I am powerless, I push on. So when I say powerless, I don't mean powerless like in my life. I mean powerless to change the other person. But I keep trying and obviously getting very frustrated. I use the rage internally to self-sabotage. When every time you feel an emotion, you feel shame because it makes you feel like you're weak. Any negative emotions just pile up and up and up and up. Then you feel completely like not deserving of good things. So of course, self-sabotage. I take the hurt, try to explain. Like I said, trying to explain that, hey, this belief system is wrong. Look at the evidence, A to B to C. It won't be looked at. I'll be dismissed when I have clear evidence, but then he can be right even when he doesn't explain himself. It's like, I take the shame, prove I am sane. So I feel this shame, like I feel weakness, but I'm like defending myself like, hey, this belief system is unfair. It's destroyed me. If I just explain it well enough, you'll understand. Doesn't happen. It doesn't work. Why can't you change? I don't understand why not. Why it's more important to be right than to be happy, or the people around you to be happy. But for some reason it is. Oftentimes. Verse 2. It's my responsibility to react, but I think the pain's my fault. I have to fix that. So I am taking responsibility for my reactions. Like, yeah, I shouldn't be kicking furniture and having blood and like all this stuff. But I think the pain's my fault. I have to fix that. But I'm being put responsibility on me that's sort of like unfair. And I thought every time I was baited, it's my fault because I didn't explain myself well enough, or my point doesn't make sense, or I don't deserve to be my own person and feel confident. So I try to fix it. I try to fix the dynamic because I just want to help everything be more harmonious. And when I can't do it, I feel like a failure. Next part. But you deny release, criticize, and gaslight to maintain the agony. There's definitely enmeshed boundaries. When I hear a complaint, I will give some kind of like my insight or suggestion because I want to like work to solve the problem together. And when I hear a complaint, I take it on myself as like, oh, it's also my problem too. Because I feel the anxiety, I feel the pressure, and so I have to like release the emotion. So I like, give my opinion because it's like I'm being complained to. And then all my suggestions or all my thoughts are like heavily, unfairly criticized. So that I can't get rid of that anxiety that was dumped on me of a problem that was never mine or my fault to begin with. I would say this is the bridge. You've given me everything, but nothing justifies lighting a match on gasoline. Just because someone has raised you and given you money and food doesn't mean that they have the right to hurt you when they have more power than you have. This is the same chorus, but I changed a few of the lyrics, as I often do, because I want to show throughout the song the lesson sort of like being learned. So chorus again. So the old line was, I am powerless, I push on. The new one is, I am powerless, I surrender. So I surrender to the fact that I can't fix other people and I can't fix the dynamic, and I will probably never be heard in the way I really truly need to be. Next line, old line is, I use the rage internally to self-sabotage. New line is, I use the rage to separate you from who I am. Boundaries, realizing that we're different people. And I'm allowed to be a different person with feelings and different values and different things I like. And there's no shame in that. In fact, that's the point of life itself. If you notice in the video, there's a lot of me drawing boundaries, like with different things, to emphasize this concept. So the difference is how I use the anger. Do I use the anger internally to hurt me, or do I use it to draw those lines in the sand? Old line is I take the hurt, try to explain. New line is I take the hurt and walk away. So I'm not going to try to explain anymore because there's no point. I just get hurt more and I'm not heard. So as soon as I notice that pattern, I'm just going to try to walk away. Next line, old one is I take the shame, prove I am sane. New one is I take the shame and change my ways. I'm not going to try to prove that I'm sane or capable of thinking anymore because the person I'm explaining it to isn't coming from a balanced perspective where I'm being treated fairly. Like even when I try to offer just empathy and comfort, I'm still treated unfairly. So I just have to just walk away. This line, change my ways, meaning not give my empathy and good things to someone who's going to use them to prove my weakness. Old line is why can't you change? New line is it's not my fault, but I'm the only one to change. I'm giving up on the other person changing, even though to me it seems like such a simple, easy, possible thing to do. For some reason it's not. So I'm acknowledging that it's not my fault, but I am still the only one that's going to change. Then it goes, I am powerless, I surrender. I use the rage to separate you from who I am. So just repeating that part again. Mainly because it went with the music, frankly, but like it's good to repeat either way. Then this part, I don't even know what to call it. I could call it another bridge, but I don't know. It says, I wish this could be resolved, but no matter what I say, you won't listen anyway. It's not me. It's not that I'm not explaining well enough. It's not that I can't think. It's that I'm going up against this belief pattern that needs to be maintained over everything else that exists. I keep thinking that I can help move it into a more positive direction if I'm just smart enough or rational enough or calm enough or in control enough, and I can't, and it's not my fault that I can't. It's just the way that it is. I'm actually covering my face with the phone. I didn't even realize I was doing that. Some of those little emotional things, huh? All right. Now the only thing left is the chorus again. So I'm just going to read it through. Just the fully new chorus. I am powerless, I surrender. I use the rage to separate you from who I am. I take the hurt and walk away. I take the shame and change my ways. It's not my fault, but I'm the only one to change. You can never really make someone else change, even if it's in everyone's best interest, even if you make a lot of sense, even if it would reduce suffering. The only thing you can do is be the best version of yourself, and whoever sees that and gets inspired, those are your people. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.
It's not my fault, but I'm the only one to change.